Boker Tov, today's daf is daf Ayin Ches. In Ksuba says learn proportionally for Yosef Asriel ben Chaim Michal and Elazar ben Reuma. A woman gets married. What happens to her assets? If they're written into the Ksuba that's called Nafsi Son Barzal, he's responsible for them. The husband's responsible for them. He can invest them, but he has to guarantee in the Ksuba. The Ksuba is a contract what he's going to pay her at the end of the marriage, either by death or divorce. That's unless she dies. If she dies first, then he inherits her, but eventually the kids get distributed according to the Ksuba. However, here we're talking about Nechsim Mulug. Nechsim Mulug are assets that are not written into the Ksuba. She owns them. The Torah doesn't tell us specifically. We know a man acquires a woman, he sort of owns her, right? He owns her. If he's a Kohen, he can give her truma, right? As soon as he betroths her, as soon as there's Erusin. But what is his rights in her assets? That's a whole discussion. That's called Nechsei Mulug. So the basic rule is that as long as they're married, he's entitled to eat the fruits thereof. He can take the fruits, he can eat them, he can work on the land, but the land belongs to her. So that it really is in her family, even though they're married. So, but what is his rights? What are the possessions? That's going to be the debate that we're discussing right now. She had some assets before they got engaged. That's what the Mishnah says. We're talking about assets that she had before, property. We'll talk about later on if it's real estate or cash, whatever. But let's say we're talking about in some case she got some property. She had nechassim before she got engaged. Modin Besham Behil are going to argue in a minute, but here they agree even after they got engaged. Obviously, before they're engaged, what does he have to do with it? It's all her property. But we're talking about if she had the property before they got engaged and now they got engaged, she could still, Beishamai still says, no, she could sell it, she could give it away, she could do whatever she wants, even though he's betrothed to her, but they're not married yet. So they both agree that if she had it before, she could do whatever she wants with it after the Erusin. They're not married yet, they're only engaged. Okay, Nafla Mishinasar. So let's say she got these assets after they got engaged. They're still engaged, they're not married. Beishamai says, same thing. Or she could do whatever she wants. Give it away. Beisalom, no. She shouldn't do it. Lo timkor. But el modem she in macher v'nasna kayim. Even Beisil says he shouldn't do it, but if she does, it's valid because they're not married yet. They're only engaged. So whether according to Beisil, whether she had him before she got engaged or she got him after she got engaged, either way she could sell him as long as they're not married yet. Beisil says she shouldn't, but if it's done, it's done. Amar Buda. So Buda says as follows. We didn't even see Rav Meir Shapiro yet, but Rav Meir is going to be very mocked. He says, no. He has no rights at all. So the Chacham of Rav Meir hold was understand. Since he acquires the wife, right? She belongs to him. Shouldn't he also get the assets? In other words, how do you say that according to Beis Hillel, after they're engaged, if she sells it, it's a valid deal? How could you say it's a valid deal? Doesn't he own her? He says, no. I'm even embarrassed. We're embarrassed about the assets that she's going to get after she's married. There's 3 stages: before she's engaged, after she's engaged, and after she's married. I say even the stuff after she's married, he has no rights in them. The new property she's going to get on a you're asking me that even the stuff that's before they got married, while they're engaged, she should also not have the rights to sell them. In other words, it belongs to the husband. That's what I say. I say the husband's never entitled to anything. Okay, but we'll see. Rav Meir is not the halacha. We say that he does have some rights. We understand that he has rights to the fruits. What rights does he have the rights to prevent her from selling them, from selling her assets? So he said clearly, if she had them before she got engaged, that's fine. She could sell them after they got engaged. If she got them after they got engaged, Beisol says you shouldn't, but if you done, it's done. Okay. Nafla Mishanissus. Let's say she got the nechassim after she got married. After she got married, she got some Yerusha from some great uncle, or somebody gave her a gift. Everybody's motive Beisol B'Shamai, but not Eilvel, not everybody, because not real. The B'Shamai says if she sells them or gives them away, the husband has the rights to take them back. He has right. Again, this is not Min Torah. The Torah didn't specify what are the husband's rights in them. We know a husband inherits his wife, or if they get divorced, he has to give her ksuba. It's all drabanan. What is his rights in her assets? He says if she got the asset after she was married, and he's entitled to eat the fruits, the husband can come and take those fruits away from the lakuach. What about the property itself? We'll see. Ad shalom nissus for nissus. Now again, if she got the assets sometimes before she got married, and now she got married, like he said before, Omer, in she could do whatever she wants, even after they're married. That's Rav Meir Shita, whatever she says. Now, in sounds like the Gemara will have a Shita that it's even Lachachil. So Rav Meir seems to repeat the same dialogue that Rabbi Yehuda referred to. They said from Meir, said, since he acquires the wife, shouldn't he be able to get the chassan? So what's this business about that she could sell them on the same thing. On the new ones, the stuff that she gets after they're married, I'm embarrassed about that, meaning she should be able to sell them. And you say you can't. You just said that the husband can take them away from the lukuchas, from the purchasers. You want to impose even on the old ones too? That's when Gamliel has that idea that the husband should have no rights in them. What's if she sells them? Now we don't understand everything yet. The Gemara is going to explain this 3 or 4 way machlokas. Reb Shimon cholek menachas mechasim. Reb Shimon seems to say it far out, but really we're going to possibly Reb Shimon. We're going to see that tomorrow. Reb Shimon cholek, but it depends on the assets. Which assets are we talking about? The husband If the husband knows about them, when he gets married, he's marrying her. Oh, you have these assets? You have $1 million of property? Let's get married. Those that he knows about, he's planning on getting them. She has no right to sell them. Lo timko. It's void. The deal is void. It's not valid. Doesn't husband low tim because she shouldn't sell even after they're married. In other words, if the husband doesn't know about him, so he wasn't marrying her with that intention. So we're saying it depends on the deal. Again, it's not a clear-cut thing. Does the husband have rights in the property that prevents her from selling them? Certainly, everybody agrees he has rights in the fruits thereof while they're married. But can he prevent her from selling them? That's the discussion we're having over here. So the first Gemara says, "Ma'ishta reisha lo pligi, ma'ishta sefer pligi." B'shem Ma'isel both agree that if she had the assets before they got engaged, and then they're engaged right now, so she could sell them, right? She can go and sell them. Oh, but if she only got the assets after they got engaged, meaning she dated over, then there's a machlokas. Beis Shammai says she can still sell Beis Hillel says only b'di'evet, which what's the difference? In both cases, we're talking about selling them while they're engaged. The Reish is talking about they fell into her possession before they got engaged, so she has more of a right. Sefer b'schuso naflo, they fell while he was engaged to her, so they fell while he had possession. It says more in b'schuso naflo ki macham nasa amai kind. If they fell into his possession, how can she sell them? Even Beis Hillel said if she sold them, it's okay, it's a good deal. Why? If he fell into his rights, el reisha vade b'schusa. In the reisha, where they fell to her before they got engaged, it certainly was in her possession. It wasn't in possession at all. Naflu. They fell in her possession. Seifa, Eimer b'schusa, we're not sure. Is it in her possession or his possession? And Rashi explains, the interesting thing, Rashi says, Erison osa suffik nesuin. And Erison makes a suffik. Maybe they're married now. Shema tavu denesuin, Shema lo tavu. Maybe they'll get engagement, maybe they'll get divorced before. Or maybe he'll die before, maybe she'll die before. In other words, we're not sure. Interesting thing that Rashi says that not everybody says that it's a suffix. When they got engaged, it's not sure, are they married or not? It's an in-between stage. Certainly they need a divorce. She can't be Mazana, that he has acquired her, but it's a suffix if it's an Asuin or not. So we're not sure is it his or is it hers.
With the net there. Both have to.
Good. Very good. Very good. That's going to be this. It's going to be what discussion. That's going to be a discussion. So the Sefer Beis Hillel says she shouldn't sell, but if he did, even Beis Hillel says you can. That's while they're engaged. But everybody agrees, except for Mulia, everybody agrees once they're married that she can't sell it. If he sells, he has the right to take it away. Now we're going to discuss it now in more detail.
What happens to the money?
Yeah.
What happens to the money? Does he get the money?
So we're going to talk about that later. And that's the next Mishnah. Tomorrow's Mishnah. We're going to talk about the Mishnah tomorrow. Iboilu. If she gets any money, you have to buy property. That's tomorrow's Mishnah. It's a good kasha. Tomorrow's Mishnah. I test. Iboilu. When Rabbi Yehuda says, I don't understand. He marries her. He owns her. Why doesn't he get everything? Is he arguing on the chetchila of Beis Hillel that Beis Hillel says she shouldn't sell, or in the Di'evet where it is sold? So is he saying even on the Di'evet, Rabbi Yehuda said, even Beis Hillel said that she could sell while they're engaged, or is he going on even the Di'evet? even if it's Di'evet, she could sell B'di'evet. So is Rabbi Yehuda arguing with that? Tashma, let's see, on Amid Beis. Tashma, tell you Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda said, the rabbi said from Glil, since he's married, it's his wife when they're married, it's his wife when they're engaged. Either way, it's his wife. So if you say that after they're married, she cannot sell, so after they're engaged also, she cannot sell, it should be batal. So Rabbi Gamliel said, yeah, I don't even agree after they're married. Again, Rabbi Gamliel has a shitas yachal. We don't pass like him. He says, I'm embarrassed. We should be embarrassed about after they're married. The new stuff that fell to her after they're married, she should be able to sell, not like we said in the Mishnah. You also say even stuff that she had while they're engaged, she shouldn't be able to sell. You see that he's talking about because what did he say? Rabbi Yehuda said, since after they're married, if she sells, it's void, the deal is void. Where after they're engaged also, the deal should be void. So he's trying to argue in both cases. That's what he said. It should be void. And Gamliel says, no, I say she should always be able to sell. But again, as we'll see, we don't pass like Gamliel. Beis Shammai also didn't agree. Even Beis Hillel didn't agree with Gamliel. Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai both say that what? They both say Elu ve'elu modim. They both say that if after they're so that if after she got married, Elu ve'elu modim shemachav nasa shabal masir kukos, right? That the deal is void. So they don't agree with Gamliel. Now, Tanya Amar Chanina ben Kevra, Chanina ben Kavya in our Mishnah and Rabbi Yehuda both had this dialogue with Gamliel. They said, the rabbi said from Gamliel, why should she have any rights to sell? After all, doesn't he own her? And he answered, no, I disagree. So what was the dialogue? Oh, he says, I'm embarrassed even after she got married, she should also be able to sell, and certainly before she got married. But there's no svara; it just says I'm embarrassed. Tanya Rabbi Chanina ben Kavya, lo kach yeshivim. Brisa says that Rabbi Chanina ben Kavya said that wasn't his answer. Lo kach yeshivim. You didn't just right away throw out l'chachamim, and he said, oh well, I'm embarrassed about the later ones, certainly about the early ones. There's a svara to it at the beginning. This is how he first answered them. What happened? Rabbi Yehuda said, and Rabbi Chanina said, they came before there. So listen, since he owns her, what's the difference if he owns her after marriage or before marriage? He owns her. She shouldn't have the right to sell. Lo imam benasua. I'll tell you the difference. Benasua she came bala zakat and sale. So when she's married, the husband acquires anything that she found. I said there her paycheck with farsandarm, and he can break her net or by himself. Michael, right? He can break his net by himself. There, it's different. There, you see that. Since you're asking, they said from Leo, either way it's his wife. If after they're married, she can't sell. So before they're married, after they're engaged, also she should be able to. So no, after they're married, the husband owns her paycheck. Anything she finds, he could break in a darum. Toma barusa. But if she's only engaged, ain't about he can't break the darum by himself. Only with the father, and he doesn't get those things. Amulos, they said, Rebbe. Okay, Amulo, Rebbe. Machra takes out the word law. Machra, Ad Shalom, you're right. That makes sense. You made a difference if they get your svara makes a difference if she was engaged if she sold it before they got married. But this is Yachach Machra Mal. But you say Leo, even if she sold after they got married, that the sale is not valid, right? But it shouldn't be valid. In other words, you're saying Leo, and this is Vachach Machra, that even then it's valid. According to Leo, only Leo holds that. You say, I understand the difference between marriage and not marriage in terms of the rights that he has. He can break her nadarim and he gets her paycheck after marriage versus before marriage. But you said that even after marriage, if she sold it, it should be valid. You said ala chadashim anuboshim, even the stuff she gets later. That doesn't make sense. This is what are you going to say? So he told him, Ramulio says, no, I also agree there too, that she could still sell. Even in this case. Why? Why should she be able to sell? If he acquires the wife, he owns her now. Shouldn't he get the nechasim? Again, the Torah says that if you betroth a woman or you marry a woman, she's yours. She can't live with anybody else on punishment of death. It's capital punishment. Shouldn't he get the nechasim too? The Torah didn't tell us about the nechasim, but shouldn't he get the nechasim? No. I say he shouldn't even get the nechasim after they're married. These are stuff. This is not written into the ksuba. This is just assets that she has. She should be able to sell. That's what he said. That's what Gamliel's answer was. So it's mashma over here. But what did Gamliel say? Gamliel said, I say that even after they're married, she should be able to sell her assets. But you say she should be able to sell the chachila v'anan tanan ad shelo nisas b'nisas. If she had the assets before and now she got married, Mulil says imacher v'nasay time like b'di'evet. If she sold it, it's okay, not mechachila. You got to change the words in the Mishnah. She's allowed to lechachila. Again, we don't pass from Mulil. That's what Mulil said. But Papa says Lokasha, her Rav Yehuda living Mulil, her Rav Chanina Manakavia living Mulil. Two different. Remember, we had Rav Yehuda quoted a dialogue with Mulil, and Rav Chanina Manakavia quoted a dialogue with Mulil. Rav Yehuda says, okay, if she sold it according to Mulil, even after they're married, if she sold it, did the evidence okay? Rav Chanina Manakavia says, Rav Chanina Manakavia says no, even lechachila. Rav Chanina Manakavia Beishamai. You say Rav Chanina Manakavia says that Mulil goes like Beishamai. She can sell whatever she wants, like he said at the beginning of the Mishnah. So whether it's before she got the asset, before he got engaged, or after he got engaged, she can sell. He says there's no machlokas. There's no machlokas about this issue. There's no machlokas. Let me just.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. That's okay. It's okay. All right. So what Chanina Makavi was saying was that there's no machlokas about that. There's no machlokas. Beisham Beisil both agree. In other words, Chanina Makavi says that even Beisil says lechachil you're able to sell at that point. That's what Mulil will say. Meaning Rav Mulil explained by Rav Chanina Makavi holds lechachil you could sell whether before they got engaged, after they got engaged, even after they got married. However, that's from Mulil Shita. Rav Shmuel Damar Tavayo, they came later and they said, whether she got assets before she got engaged, or she got the assets after she got engaged, and now she's married. Once she's married, certainly if she got the assets after they got married, certainly she wouldn't have the right to sell. But even if whether he got the assets before or afterwards, now you could argue there's still a difference because after they got married, he wasn't expecting them. But still, and before he got married, she knew about it, right? So that's Rav Shimon who makes that nafkamina. The earlier shitas in the Mishnah don't make that nafkamina. What Rav and Shmuel both say is that once they're married, she cannot sell. And if she sold, the husband can take him away from the purchasers. Kaman delo Rav Yehuda. This goes not like a beautiful Rav Chanina, because Rav Yehuda explained, Rav Yehuda said according to Mulil, did the evidence she sold it's valid. And Rav Chanina says in Rav Mulil she could sell even after they're married. But in Udamik Rabbeinu, Rav and Shmuel don't go like Rav Mulil, they go like the rabbis. The Tanya Rabbeinu Chazarinim, they took a vote later on, they returned and they vote again. Whether she got the essence before she got engaged, not she got married, and that's we'll see. That's the husband can take them away. Meaning the rabbis gave the right to the husband to take away what she sold, but we're not clear yet. What can he take away? Let's remember something. The assets really belong to her family. Right, so that if she dies, who gets them? Really, he gets them because he inherits his wife. Right, the husband comes before everybody else, so he has rights in them. Yet we say while they're married, he doesn't really own them. He can eat the fruits, right? He can use them and work the field and all that, but he doesn't really own them. He can't sell them. He can't sell her assets until she dies. If he kills her and she dies, then it's his. But otherwise, it's not. We're not talking about what's written into the Ksuba, because what's written into the Ksuba, even what's written into the Ksuba, he has rights to them until he dies, and then it goes according to the Yerusha. If she had children, remember that stuff goes. That's Ksuba's a bit indifferent. Fine, but while they're married, he's entitled to the fruits. So that's our issue. Can she sell or not? Rav Gamliel says she can. Beishamai said, well, before the marriage she can, but after they're married, not so much. And like we see, Rabbi Seinu Chazar knew that after they're married, she has no rights to sell, and if she sold it, the husband can take it away. So now the war goes on. Mishnah is and once they're married, they still both moda what that she cannot sell, the husband can take it away. This Mishnah is a proof of Tikana Susha. Tikana Susha came much later on. They made a Takana. When the Sanhedrin was in the town of Usha later on, they made a Takana. If a wife sold her Nichse Mulug, these assets we're talking about, while her husband's alive, Umesa, and now she died. Remember when she died, who inherits her? The husband. The husband can take it away. So isn't that really what you're saying in the Mishnah? We said in the Mishnah, once they're married, they some Mishnah both motive that the husband can take it away. Is that the same as the Tekana Susha? No, not the same. Why? When the Mishnah says when she sold it, the husband can take it away, we mean the husband can take away the payros. What happens? She sold this field to somebody else. It's a field that has all kinds of wheat and barley and all kinds of other stuff growing there. And he says, wait a minute, I'm entitled to the fruits. So the Mishnah, when the Mishnah says she's not entitled to sell, right, once they're married, it is talking about masisin b'chayeh ula payros. Once they're married, he's entitled to the payros. And if she sold the field, he can go back and say, listen, all those fruits are mine. I don't physically own the field. I don't have deed and title to the field, but anything that grows on the field is mine. I'm entitled to work the field and take the payros. That's what we mean in the Mishnah. Tekanas usha was begufa shel karka lachamisa. The tekana usha was in the goof of the karka itself lachamisa, meaning that it goes into her estate. That if she dies, he's entitled to take the goof itself of the bargain. So again, while they're married, he cannot sell the land for sure. It's not his. And if she sold it, it's only sold temporarily, basically, because the husband can eat the fruits and the deed that the guy has is only temporary, right? What does that mean? It's only temporary because if she dies, the husband's going to inherit and get field. Let's say he dies, then the sale is a good sale. Turns out retroactively because then she's entitled to sell the field. If the husband dies and it's her field, she can sell it. See, she owns the field, but the question is, does she have the right to sell it or not? So after they're married, we seem the psak over here is that she cannot sell it, and if she does sell it, it's only sold temporarily. In terms of the fruits, while they're married, certainly the husband can get it, but who has deed and title to it? It's in limbo. If she dies eventually, the husband gets the field back because he inherits her. If the husband dies, then the sale is a good sale because she sold it.
That's the only time you can buy from a married woman.
Yeah.
According to Kanasusha.
Right.
If the husband is dead.
That's right. That's one of the only time she has right to sell. That's right. Otherwise, you can pay you right. Correct. That's right. Right. Shimon, we're going to see pasuk with Shimon. Shimon says it depends. No. All this depends. Even after they're married, there are certain things you can sell. What does he says? Ela, you do, man. He says the chasam that they knew about, he can't sell. She can't sell that because he was planning on getting them. He married her under those conditions, but things he didn't know about, you could. Now, what's considered that you know about, not know about? You do as karka, land, real estate that they know about. Shani do a metaltlin. That's what's not known about. So that seems to say that again, these mechasim we talked about which assets are we talking about, karka or not. So according to this opinion, metaltlin she could sell even after they're married. If she got metaltlin, she could sell that on her. They're both known, whether it's metaltlin or karka, you can know about both of them. Elu sheni, what's not known? She had some assets overseas. In Arizona, some uncle died in the assets and he didn't know about it. So if the husband didn't know about it when they got married, he wasn't planning on getting it, and therefore she could sell that even after they're married. What are the chasm they don't know about? She had some assets here and she had a chasm overseas. He didn't know about that. So he didn't go into the marriage planning on getting it, and therefore she's entitled to sell it even after they're married. Now the Gemara is going to give an example of a story like this, that stuff they don't know about. We'll see this case tomorrow, that a woman who she was trying to evade the husband. She had some assets and she wants to get married, but she doesn't want the husband to get hold of them. So she gave a fake deed to her daughter as if to get him. The Gemara is going to discuss that case. We'll see that case tomorrow, and we got to start sleeping. Have a good day, everybody.
Not deal with a situation where a wife comes into assets after she's married.
It depends on the prenup.
No, I'm saying, I wonder if
it could. The prenup is a contract. You could write. You're a lawyer. You can write whatever you want in a prenup. There's good prenups.
Because otherwise,
yeah,
a wife who inherits after their
That's right. That's right. We think of a prenup as a man saying, "I don't want her to get my assets," right? But it works the other way too. You have a rich girl, and she says you're going to get some assets later on. Of course. The problem with the wills and all that in terms of halacha is that you don't know what you're going to have later on.
Right.
Understand? So that's the problem. The problem is